Good morning, YouTube. Hey, it's July 13th and we're back in the shed working on the Gravely. Probably there's a lot of Gravely guys down at the Mow-In in Maryland this weekend. Wish I could be there, just had too much going on this weekend and couldn't get away from work. Still have to do some regular paying job work this weekend. So pretty much, just getting a little bit of break time to work on this bad boy. So let me show you where I am this morning, what I'm going to work on. So the last video, I have this plate on. I was listening to, I read a comment in the previous video. He goes, "Oh, you should stencil it." And I went to just go clean this, and I literally wiped off "Made in USA." So, nevertheless, this whole thing's just going to get painted now, or at least I'll see if I can clean up this stuff, just so it's not, get rid of the whitish stuff from the navel jelly. But yeah, the rest of it's just going to get painted black, but it is what it is. Again, I got to go back to the original intention of this whole, I'm not even calling it a restoration, was just to eliminate a lot of the rust and then the junk and the nastiness on that. So on that note, on the speaking of nastiness, so I'm working on, I'm going to try to do as much as I can with it up on the engine stand. And then once it's, once I can move it with the handlebars on it, I'll drop it. And the handlebars will be the last thing I do, just because, like I said in the previous video, it just becomes unruly, this 6, 7 foot, 8 foot, now that it's on it, it's just going to be so huge on this. So I'll probably do the handlebars last. But anyways, so what I'm jumping on today is this wire harness. So I just picked up the wire harness. It was hanging right there since basically I put this, make sure this is, it's been hanging there since I, put the tractor up here, just sitting there. And the one thing I noticed is I literally just picked it up and this is what's on it. So it is absolutely this greasy, oily, dirt laden mess. So I'm gonna clean it because it was working, and if there's breaks in it, then I will replace the wire. But there's a lot of wiring that I don't necessarily want to replace right now. What I'll do is I know I have the electrical diagrams for it, like here from the manual, but I want to I'd rather just, test it out, and if it's a problem, I can always switch it later. Luckily, most of this is connections, so if I can clean up the connections, I do have some replacement ones for the plastic. Maybe on some of these ends I will wipe them down. I will see how, what the shape they're in. I'll verify that the coil is still working. But basically just going to wipe it down and assess it first before I just plainly say, like, all right, let's just, remake a new one. I might eventually make a new one, but I like I said, I'm getting antsy with this tractor, and I just want to, get it back down on the ground and use it again. And this was functional when I when I used it last. So let me do that, and right. So I got the wrap all off it. It is still, I wiped off this section, but it is like oily and filthy. As you can see, there is some finagling going on here, some wrapped wires. This is just a connection, but don't know what's going on here. I don't know if this is, I'll have to dig into this and see, because like I said before, I mean, here's a missing one here, and this one's, I don't know what's going on here. I'll have to find out. But I always try to like keep where they, the wraps are, and where it splits out and has like jogs off to the side. I try to cable tie them just to like mimic what was there, so I don't lose it when I go back to put it all back together. But like I said in a previous video, the safeties, like the dead man switches on the handles, I don't know if this works. I'll check it and show you if it works or not. So if there's continuity here, I'll see if these buttons actually work, but I know they were like disconnected from the system, so I could have on this tractor, just like my Pro 16, just barely, you know, pretty much like old generation Gravely's, you could put it in forward and it will just let go of the handlebars, it'll just run. So that's kind of how this was set up, which I have no problem with it. To some extent I like it that way because I can, you know, I can do more with it, and obviously I have long time experience running Gravely's, so not necessarily fixing Gravely's, but running Gravely's. So I've been running them for those of you who just joined the channel. I've run them for since I was 10, so I've been doing that for 40 years now. So anyways, let me get into this more. Let me just wipe these down and then compare them to I'm going to just look at the drawing for a little bit and try to see if I can identify all the wires and just double check connections. So all right, so I cleaned up. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get this original one. You know, it was working when I took it off. It was just oily, so I replaced some of the wires that I could that were not, like this was a shorty, replaced the two ends, new wire. I put the heat shrink over exposed stuff, tape over stuff. I put heat shrink over that, that looked, I think it was a resistor that was on here. So just going to clean it up and slap it back on, and hopefully it works. I'll replace this bad one, this old one, if I have enough length in here. We'll see. Like maybe I'll put a better connection here than this, but because it's just like too, I don't like these wire nut type stuff. I like heat shrink and you know, sealing it off. So so it's cleaned up. It's not oily anymore. I got cable ties at the bend points, the jogs or whatever. So all the ends are cleaned, so that's good. The handlebars are now painted. Those are done. Once it's on, I gotta still clean up those ends, those grip wires, or the those are the wires for the switches, the dead man switches. Those are still a little corroded on the end, so I'll pop those off. It'll just be easier when that's actually on the tractor. I'll just clean those up. I ended up just painting over the dash. It was just kind of like, you know, just crummy. You know, like I said, the center instructions had like a whole section that was gone. When I went to go clean the Made in America, I actually just wiped it off because I was using something too harsh. So I said, the heck with it, just painted it over. If I can go back and stencil it at some point, I will. But it is what it is. So that's needs to get done. One of the next things, once kind of that dries, one of the next things I got to tackle is the hood, which is, you know, basically what it looked like originally, which is total garbage. So I ordered new stickers for it, so I will scrape this entirely down, prime it, and paint it. Still have to clean up all the levers, but I'll do those. And these are still greasy and nasty, so I'll wash those and clean those, and then just paint them quick and get the grease off, and then just slap those back on. But those I'll do once it's on the ground. All right, so I got the handlebars on. Definitely gonna have to replace this grip. I'll call Richards for that. That's how the Pro 16 were like this, and I just called Richards and replaced them. So, so the handlebars are on now. Now, as you can see, I don't know if you saw in the video, trying to get around this, it makes this makes working on a pain in the ass to swing around, just because my shed is so small. So, you know, so this thing is coming down. It's gonna be coming down today. So, yeah. So that's the plan. I'll do a little bit more on it, and then definitely it'll be on the ground before the day's out. All right, it's back on two wheels again. Got it down, got it off. Some minor scratches getting it off, but we can paint it over. Should be fine. Got the handles on it, got the kickstand on it, or hitch I should say. I need to put a kickstand on it. That looks a little crooked, so I might need to shift that over. As you can see, it should go over more, so that's great. Just tighten that up, and no wonder everything was tight, but oh well. Fix that and should be done for today. So yeah, no, excited that it's back on 2 wheels again. It's getting close. It's getting close to firing this bad boy up again. Again, it's as Diesel Creek says, it's a socially distant restoration. So that means from this distance, it looks great. Get up too close, not so good. So I'm fine with that. Was never planning on doing a heavy, serious restoration where I really strip it down to nothing, prime it, you know, in multi-layers. This is just a rattle can restoration, just because it was a total rust bucket before. So I'm good with it. I'll be psyched once it's running and up in working order, and then I can get on to the next project. Speaking of the next project, here's a little teaser for the next project. Hope you guys are well. Hope you enjoyed the mowing if you went to it, and talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.